Aryna Sabalenka claiming this U.S. Open title, solidifying herself as the world number one. Great performance over Amanda Anisimova. 6-3, 7-6 to capture the title, and she continues to build this incredible resume. It's kind of fascinating. Mike, my co-host, said would it have been sort of a failed season had she not won a Grand Slam? And she's been so remarkably consistent throughout 2025. But you'd probably agree, in her mind, had she not won this U.S. Open, she'd be looking back at this year as a disappointment.
100%. Again, that idea of what is success, right? Yeah, you measure it differently. Every player measures it differently, and she's at that point where she measures it by the Grand Slam titles. Yeah, by all accounts, a fantastic year, even without the title here. But yeah, it was very clear how emotional of a win that was, which again is kind of surprising, I think, from an outsider's perspective, because she has accomplished so much over the last couple of years. But yeah, some of those misses this year certainly made this one much more valuable to her, and you could see it on court right afterwards.
She just seemed in that final to me to have that extra confidence of being there so many times before, of hoisting that trophy before. And kudos to Amanda Anisimova, because she certainly gave a much stronger performance than what she was able to do at Wimbledon. And part of that was maybe exercising those demons against Iga Swiatek and the way that she dispatched her to get there, which was so impressive. And I want to talk about her for a minute, not just because, you've got the American angle here covered for us, but so impressed with what she's done with her career already. And she's only, 23, 24 years old. I mean, she's still got so many years ahead of her, but just what she's been through, from being such a highly touted phenom, having all that pressure on her, having that deep run at Roland Garros years ago, and then losing her father tragically and battling the mental health issues and everything to come back. And we really saw it. I want to sort of say it happened, or it started in Toronto in some ways, because when she made the finals of the National Bank Open in 2024, that was a real step up for her, and her ranking took a huge leap forward from that one event. And she's really consolidated on that and built on that. And 2 Grand Slam finals in a row, a terrific performance yet again in New York. It's just, it almost makes me feel like a tennis fan when I'm watching her. I'm just so happy for her and so proud of what she's accomplished. And it should be, much more ahead for her the way that she's performed this season.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. We had on U.S. Open Radio this week, we had Mark Lucero, who was actually one of the coaches over the last couple of years that kind of helped her get back on that path, Mike. And the way he talked about her, and this was on air, so I don't feel like I'm giving away or betraying any confidences that they had. He said to us that she was the first player who just would, on a regular basis, ask how he was doing. Which I know sounds kind of silly, but a lot of players don't necessarily, like, are you okay today? What do you need to, make your job successful? And he said that she always did that every day, just like, how are you? How is your family? How are the kids? All of that. And I think you have seen that more. And the idea of perspective just really kept popping in my head, right? One of the things that always unites us as human beings is one of the few things we all experience is grief. As dark as that might sound, but it's one of those universal things that all of us deal with. So all of us, maybe if we haven't necessarily lost a father at a young age like that, but we've all experienced that pain, that loss. And that's what makes that story so remarkable, right? Just that pain that she experienced, the mental health break a couple years ago, injury battles. To see her play with such joy now, and it feels like the load is lighter. That being said, you're absolutely right, Mike, that match against Iga, it was in the quarterfinals, 4-3. There was purpose behind it. There was clear thought process of just what she had to do over these last couple of months. And then again, just seeing that release of, a couple months of pain and anguish over it. And again, just felt like from there on out, she was kind of playing with house money, just felt like she was free from that moment. Obviously disappointed running into Aryna, who was a woman on a mission as well. But that was a fun watch. Like that run was just enjoyable. You're absolutely right about it. And I could tell, even amongst the media in there, with nothing away from Aryna Sabalenka. Like the majority of the media, they were pulling for Anisimova. There's just no way around it. She played with the passion, she played with the spirit, and on top of it, masterful stuff. I mean, the backhand, I can't remember. I think it was at I might be wrong on this, guys. I apologize, but I think before the final, she was averaging 77 miles an hour on the backhand, which was 5 or 6 miles an hour faster than Carlos and Yannick. I think that stat is right. Like that is world class beyond belief. Yeah, it was a fun watch, and I really enjoyed the match with Osaka. Like that was great. Two different styles. Like Osaka just kind of has come into a different play style herself right now, a little bit more measured, less trying to go for winners on every single shot. That was a great match to watch, to see a diverse style. I mean, we were talking about that just a little bit on the men's side, right, Mike? Like, there's so much going on. I'm looking at these quarterfinals. Krejcikova in there. I mean, Vondrousova. I'm still so disappointed that she didn't get to play that quarterfinal with Sabalenka. There was so much, so many different game styles that you really felt could challenge Iga, could challenge Sabalenka. And I loved the women's side this year as a result.
I mean, we've been so high on the women's side, Ben, for years, really just loving the depth, and there's so many compelling matches there. And, they're fantastic to us when they come to Toronto as well. I feel like just the WTA opens the doors to their players and really wants to promote them, which is so huge in the sport of tennis. Maybe you want to touch on just briefly also a little bit Naomi Osaka, because how great is it to have her back, one of the, great champions of this last, 10-year period in women's tennis, and still young enough to have so many productive years ahead of her. Global appeal. She brings the sport to different places.
Yep.
And I thought that Anisimova Osaka matchup, I'm like, my God, I don't know who I want to win more, because I feel both of them really deserve something like this right now.
Yeah, she's so special because you're right. She hits different markets. That is certainly, in terms of a marketing situation, is fantastic. But yeah, hearing her talk about the love of the sport of tennis again, which she had lost, was fantastic, because in that match with Anisimova in specific, that semifinal, seeing both of them at multiple times after everything they have both gone through, seeing them with that joy, that smile on their face, right? Again, appreciating those moments that were in front of them. And hearing her talk again, I mentioned it just a second ago, that she realizes now she doesn't have to hit a winner on every single swing, which again comes with time. That maybe her top level is 5% less than what it was 4 years ago. That's certainly possible, but she's a smarter person. Again, the idea of appreciation, and she knows who she is more as a player right now, which, the self-identity is so important on a tennis court. You understand who you are, what your capabilities are. I'm hopeful that this will continue. I'm hopeful she can avoid, the ab issues that she had at the beginning of the year. I also know, obviously, as you guys watched just along with me, that some of those press conferences and obviously what happened at the trophy ceremony in Montreal, I know she gets a lot of criticism for that. I understand it, but she's pretty authentic and pretty real, man. Like, that's you get Naomi Osaka at all times, and you might not like it. It might not be the personality that you love. I do. I think she is authentically herself, and an incredible tennis player.
And I honestly believed her post Montreal when she said, I think I literally forgot.
Yep.
And she sometimes drifts into these kind of headspaces, and I actually believed her. And honestly, that Anisimova Osaka match, I think, was maybe my favorite women's match of the tournament. It was phenomenal. Touching on Canadians for a moment. We have such short-term memory because we were so gung-ho obsessed with Vicky Maboko here, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
And you're coming off an emotional win in Montreal. You injured your wrist there. You're shifting over to the US Open where you're a seeded player. I can't think of a worse draw, really, for a first-round match if you're not feeling your best to have to play someone like Barbara Krejcikova. And like, was this just a bad draw? Is that, like,
Yes.
we chalk it up? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you jump off of a train because of one bad performance for a young player, first time seeded at a slam against a multiple time Grand Slam champion, like that's your loss. Yeah, I didn't get to watch as much. I was in Toronto, and so I was doing a lot, obviously, on the men's side. I didn't get to watch that run in Montreal, but just watching some of the highlights, and I was on the call. I was thinking I was going to be getting that Krejcikova Mboko match, and unfortunately, it ended a little bit too quick, and so I didn't get to be on the call for that one. She's special. I know you guys know that. An incredibly special talent, some composure that is otherworldly at that age. I'm so impressed by her. That's awful, awful draw, especially with the hand. I mean, she was trying to downplay it in press afterwards, but I mean, she was clearly not wasn't able to do what she could normally do. I think you just have to let that go. Get her ready, get her healthy for Australia, and I mean, sky's the limit for her, right?
Absolutely. Nothing to defend whatsoever either as she goes into this fall swing. I mean, she can take her time too if she wants to
Yes.
rest the wrist. There-
I would hope she actually takes some time off. I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
let the body heal. There's nothing to prove right now. Just wait. Let 2025 be the priority, and if you're able to get some matches in here, great.
100%. My last one quickly, just doubles, not mixed doubles, although that was interesting. We did talk about it a couple weeks ago. Ottawa's Gaby Dabrowski, Erin Routliffe, a Kiwi who grew up here in Caledon, Ontario, not far from where Mike and I are. Just wow. I mean, they won this title 2 years ago when they were kind of a new tandem at the time.
Yeah.
Gaby has been open with what she went through last year with breast cancer. We talk about playing with joy. These two did it
Yeah.
the entire fortnight, and I was not nervous, but apprehensive going into the finals. Like Townsend and Siniakova can play so incredibly well on the court together.
Yeah.
They're incredibly dangerous when they're playing their best tennis, but Routliffe and Dabrowski were on the front foot for the bulk of that match, really clean. And
Yeah.
look at that, they have 2 Grand Slam titles.
Yeah. It's really special. I've interviewed Gaby a couple times. I know you guys know her a lot better than me. She's one of my favorite people in tennis. Um, I just think what they've been able to do this last year, again, I go back to it, this idea of perspective, right? I mean, what they've gone through, Gaby specifically medically, Erin had to kind of figure out, how that was going to affect her and who she was going to play with, how that was going to impact her career. I mean, it's a little bit less than obviously what Gaby went through, but you're exactly right. I mean, these two have found that joy on court. I think Erin's wingspan is it presents so many problems. Like, like in Gaby's return service games, like, what do you do with Erin there? Just like controlling, like, it's such a great team because of their skill sets are so complementary, right? It's TT and Kat are amazing. TT in particular, great tournament for her in so many different ways. But yeah, it just feels like, again, that ability to control things on so many different levels because of the skill set that Gaby and Erin both present. Again, it's one of those things that I think they have an incredible opportunity in front of them. I know they have tour finals that are going to be to defend at the end of the year as well. But yeah, just it was one of those tournaments again where you saw some media members out there that maybe aren't paying as many, putting their eyes on doubles, but they did because the storylines were fantastic with Taylor, obviously, but also with Gaby and Erin and all the attention that Gaby has brought. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but like seeing her coach, Daniel Kiernan, she's inspired him with what she's gone through, and he's actually kind of taken on a health journey with himself as well. If I heard correctly, he's down like 30 or 40 pounds because
Wow.
what Gaby has gone through has made him realize that he needs to make a health priority as well. And I think that's amazing. And just such an inspiring story from Gaby.
Yeah, she's always been very outspoken, but now using this platform again to sort of, educate people as well, which
Yeah.
is wonderful. And, I want to ask a final question about doubles as well. And as our friends Hanlon and Will from the tennis tribe would say, watch
Mm.
more doubles
Yeah.
and you're never going to be disappointed. But I want to touch on Venus Williams. And it was just so special to see. I mean, she's had a great summer from winning that match against Stearns there. And who saw that coming after not playing for so long? And and now playing doubles and teaming up with Canadian Leylah Fernandez, which I think, boy, you got to feel pretty proud of yourself if you're Leylah to be asked by a legend like Venus to team up, especially Venus, who's played with so few partners over her career because her and Serena were always the foregone conclusion to team up in Grand Slams when they did, and they usually won them. So maybe just a little word about Venus choosing Leylah Fernandez. And also, Serena was kind of joking about being a little jealous and with a little smile on her face there on Instagram. Is there a chance that Serena comes out next year because she looks fit as can be and says, hey, you know what? Let's team up and play some doubles again, sister?
Same thing I said about Novak, right? Never say never. I will say Serena was on the guest list. I don't know if you guys saw, but I think it was in between the women's semifinals. They had a presentation. I think it was the women's semifinals. Yeah, presentations announcing the Williams family endowment partnership with the USTA. And she was on the guest list. And I got to tell you, everybody was waiting to see if that was an announcement or something along those lines, because we didn't know exactly what the presentation was going to be. To your original point, though, another one of your guests of the past over the last couple of years, Blair Henley, she was on Armstrong doing a lot of the on-court stuff. She said she had never seen both Venus or Leylah both in terms of just how much fun they were having. Again, like, you can take the doubles component, the play out of it, but the crowd was flocking to it, and Leylah seemed to just, there was no pressure. Like, we certainly know, we have seen over the last couple of years, right? There are moments where it feels like the weight of the world is upon her. It was so free. It was so free and so fun to watch. I wouldn't say it was the best doubles I've ever watched by any means. Please watch more doubles, but maybe not that one. But they just had a great time. The interviews afterwards were fantastic. Leylah, just, I loved seeing that from her, just like the honor of getting to be picked there. And you could tell how much it meant to her and how serious she took it because of that, the legend next to her. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was great that they won a couple rounds. I didn't think that was going to happen, to be very honest with you. I called Venus's singles match against Muhova, and it was just like, this. I'm happy she's playing doubles, but it could be a little bit. It was great. It was fantastic. Like, from a wide angle lens here, looking at this tournament as a whole, the singles draws, the women's definitely was more compelling. There weren't like those really dramatic until the semifinals, and maybe Taylor Townsend, Barbora Krejcikova, the 8 match points there. There weren't too many like really dramatic, crazy, memorable matches. Like, I think the one that everybody's going to point to singles wise, Krejcikova Townsend. That's the one that I think everybody's going to say that was the match we all remember. There weren't too many of those this year at the US Open. The doubles drew a heck of a lot of attention. Like, I know you guys talk mixed doubles, and Ben, I was saying this before we went on the air, but the mixed, say what you want. I get it. I'm not going to take anything away from the people who say they want more doubles play. I understand. My cousin, who's just took up tennis fandom like a year and a half ago, was texting me throughout that whole thing, and then was texting me afterwards asking when Sarah Arani plays. Right? Like, we're going to remember a heck of a lot about the doubles this year. That's freaking awesome.
It's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting to see what other slams do moving forward with mixed doubles. It seems to me a foregone conclusion the U.S. Open will do the same thing next year. Why would you change it?
Right.
And
I mean,
I do feel for doubles players that get shut out, of course.
Get it.
And I would have loved to see Gaby Dabrowski in there and, have others have the opportunity. But how can you argue with the appeal that they brought to the table there before the main tournament began?
I think the other 3 all have challenges. We certainly know that Australia, there are the rumors that the Saudi Masters, whenever the 10th Masters gets added, it might be right before Australia. So that, and also players want to get in some matches before Australia, and that mixed time, it might not work there. You've got the Masters right, the week before Paris. That cram schedule, same thing at Wimbledon. So I don't think it'll happen on the same level on at the other 3 slams. But I think you're right. I think this is what it's going to be, some iteration of this for the next few years in New York, for sure.
Yeah. winning products. Anything that gets people watching more tennis, sign me up. Honestly,
Yes.
and overall great fortnight on the men's and women's side. Mike, it's always an absolute pleasure to have you on the podcast. It had been too long. Thanks for your just phenomenal work over not just these past few weeks, but I think you have a really important space in the world of tennis, covering events across the challenger level. Telling these stories and meeting these players and finding out their background. So we always appreciate our conversations with you, having you on the podcast, and get a little rest after this. You really deserve it.
I'll do my best. I'm just surprised we haven't even brought up Liam Draxel. How have we not brought up Liam Draxel, for God's sake?
Right?
What a year.
That'll be our stigma at the next appearance.
Yeah. No, we do have an interview with him from a month ago. What an incredible year. And hopefully the next time we chat, he'll be inside the top 100.
I think he will. I think he's getting there.
Mike, great to see you again. You're one of the good ones, man. And enjoy your 2-week break, and then Challenger in Las Vegas. I don't know how relaxing that'll be, but have fun down there too.
That's a lot of stress. There are a lot of lights there, but we'll make it fun.
Guys, you've been listening to Matchpoint Canada. We will talk to you next time. Thank you guys so much for watching us at Matchpoint Canada. If you like our work, follow along, hit the subscribe button below.